that is Alhat, I have told, where Alhat trial discarded this particular alpha blocker group. It was being taken out from the first line of antihypertensive group, the Alhat. That is nothing but antihypertensive and lipid lowering to protect the heart attack trial. Next slide, please. The systolic hypertension in the elderly program, that is what I said, CHEP. In elderly patients with isolated systolic hypertension, chlorthalidone reduces the rate of the total stroke is reduced by 36%, and the major cardiovascular events are reduced by 32%, and all-cause mortality is reduced by 13%. But you have to be cautious. I have told you, go with a little dose, like 6.25 is sufficient. Don't go for 12.5 or don't increase to 25 also, please, in the elderly. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Again, Say please, one slide prior to that. One slide prior to that, please. Yeah. Thank you. This one, please. Yeah, chlorthalidone trials, the SHEP, you can see this. Each month of chlorthalidone based therapy was associated with approximately 1 day of extension in the life free from cardiovascular death. This is so appealing, and this is the take-home message for all. 1 month of chlorthalidone is going to increase our life expectancy by 1 day, and it is free of cardiovascular death. So this is the core message. Everybody has to keep it in mind. So chlorthalidone, put your put it into your practice, replacing the hydrochlorothiazide. You please go for chlorthalidone, where it has got a lot of cardiovascular benefits. Yes, next slide, please. Yeah, now coming to the angiotensin receptor blocker, this is the ARBs, the telmisartan. It has got the PPAR gamma, the cardiometabolic sartan. That's why we call it as a cardiometabolic sartan, or a true 24-hour antihypertensive agent, because it has got the partial agonistic action on the PPAR gamma receptors, and telmisartan will become a promising cardiometabolic sartan that targets both the diabetes and CVD in hypertensives, and it takes care of the renal parameters also, and improves the insulin sensitivity in hypertension, the patients with hypertension, with insulin resistance or diabetes. And using telmisartan alone or in combination with diuretic can be efficacious in patients with the dyslipidemia also. Yes, this has got a favorable effect because it is partially blocking the PPAR gamma. So potentiating the PPAR gamma, this PPAR gamma. So it has got a favorable effect on the hypertension, favorable effect in insulin resistance, favorable effects even in the controlling the dyslipidemia. So telmisartan is the wonderful drug of choice out of all the sartans what we have in the present day scenario, and that literally works for 24 hours. Next slide, please. And this is called Gemini trial. The beta blocker was Gemini trial. Beta blocker was added to either ACE inhibitor or ARB. The therapy can provide a clinically relevant additional reductions in the blood pressure in patients with type 2 diabetes. With addition of a beta blocker, approximately 65% of the patients achieved blood pressure control. We can see in this bar diagram where this light color shows the 4%. This was this patients where they were put on only either ACE inhibitor or ARB, and in the dark that was a combination therapy with ACE inhibitor or beta blocker or ARB with the beta blocker has shown undoubtedly that 65% of the patients who are put on this dual therapy have come back to the target goal of the blood pressure, that is 130/80 or 120/80. Next slide, please. And the benefits, okay, of the metoprolol offers greater BP reduction, heart rate, yes, absolutely. The role of beta blockers, they come into action when the heart rate is going literally high, that is the sinus tachycardia, that is where the heart rate crosses 100 beats per minute, that is defined as with no irregularities, no arrhythmias and no APCs and no VPCs, and regular heart rate with more than 100 BPM is called defined as sinus tachycardia, and that particular condition, this metoprolol offers a great reduction in the heart rate and monitoring BP, unlike CCBs in other combinations. And the one more advantage of adding this metoprolol or the beta blockers, what I said, the metoprolol or the bisoprolol or the nebivolol, this is a alarming signal. Actually, it's an alarming sign. The sinus tachycardia, if it is present in the patient suffering from diabetes, it is called the cardiac autonomic neuropathy, CAN. CAN reflects in the form of sinus tachycardia in the resting 12-lead electrocardiogram. So that becomes an indication for addition of metoprolol to reduce the adrenergic activity, and that will control the heart rate. And preferably, if it is not controlled with beta blockers, then we may have to add even drugs like ivabradine also to control the heart rate, because the heart rate goes up and it works hard and some point of time it gets tired, it's going to stop. So we need to meticulously control the heart rate. We keep it as somewhere around 70 to 80, not sinus bradycardia, not sinus tachycardia. Keep it in the middle. And telmisartan has got Papar gamma activity, unlike olmesartan. In conventionally available other 3-drug combinations, Papar gamma activity is beneficial in diabetic hypertensive patients. This Papar gamma is seen with the pioglitazone. This Papar gamma activity is seen with the lipid lowering molecule, especially used for familial hypertriglyceridemia, or where the triglycerides are abnormally elevated. The saroglitazar 4 milligram also. These are all the Papar gamma receptor agonists. So that is from Zydes Cadila. The only one country that has got this particular saroglitazar is India, and no other part of world they have this. They don't use this saroglitazar, so I don't know the reasons. And the US FDA has not approved it's practically the saroglitazar. But still, all the drugs, little bit, they are similar to the actions of the thiazolidine dienes called the rosiglitazone or the pioglitazone. The telmisartan acts in that way only, the Papar gamma activity, and this the same activity is seen in the telmisartan, which is not seen in olmesartan. So that's the reason why you have a favorable effect in reducing the insulin resistance and improving the insulin sensitivity, and also it takes care of the lipid parameters, where it reduces the LDL-C and triglycerides also to some extent. And chlorthalidone offers a greater BP reduction and reduces the risk of myocardial infarction, stroke and death, unlike hydrochlorothiazide in other 3 combinations. That's we have discussed already, and improves the therapy compliance actually, because the 3-drug combination is going to minimize the number of pills, the burden of pill is reduced, and the polypharmacy is reduced. And next slide please. And in continuation to that, the addition of chlorthalidone is important for synergistic effect to improve the BP control and cardiovascular protection. More patients achieve target BP goal, and if you achieve the target BP goal, you are going to minimize the complications of diabetes or hypertension per se, like the atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease, or the coronary artery disease, or the ischemic heart disease, or the strokes, or the incidence of retinopathy, or the incidence of nephropathy, incidence of diabetic kidney disease, or the incidence of diabetic neuropathy. And chlorthalidone is more effective than amlodipine in preventing CHF by 25%. Yes. Next slide please. Chlorthalidone with beta blocker is more effective in preventing CV risk and mortality, and it protects end organ damage, improves the therapy compliance by 98%, and a convenient. It's very convenient for the dosage titration. Next slide, please. And now you can see the multiple. You see what is missing in FDCs, fixed dose combinations, is we have the same fixed dose and we need to put the same dose for all the patients. Whereas I'm not talking about Ajanta Pharma or something else. I am talking about the flexibility in this particular three drug combinations. They have given in one combination they have given Metexel 3D. It is metoprolol 25 milligram, where the telmisartan remains the same in all the four, that is 40 milligram, and chlorthalidone is 12.5, and same is metoprolol 25, telmisartan 40, chlorthalidone is 6.25, whereas it is 50 milligram of metoprolol and telmisartan 40 milligram and chlorthalidone 12.5 milligram, and here it is the chlorthalidone is been reduced, where it is 50 milligram of metoprolol and telmisartan remains the same in all the four combinations. And next slide, please. And finally, a word on this again. It's going to predict the heart attacks. It's going to protect the incidence of strokes, and it's going to have the kidney protection if your BP is close to 120 or 130 by 80 millimeters of mercury. And I thank all for very patient listening. And now it's time for question and answer session. Anybody has any queries, just feel free to ask me so that I can clarify the questions, please. Oh, Dr. Ajit Singh, he said thank you so much, Ajay. Oh, Srikanth, wonderful. How are you? My dearest good friend Srikanth. Yeah. Very nice to see you on my screen in the COVID pandemic, Srikanth. We cannot see personally, and a pleasure to see you, Srikanth. I told you, right, you will be my special guest and today's webinar speaker program. So, any feedback? Yeah, Anandu Chandran, thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Anandu. He's my good friend from Kerala. Thank you so much. Yeah, Srikanth, you wanted to comment something? Yeah, you have to. Yeah. Your doubt is either to follow the European guidelines or the American guidelines. Always follow the American guidelines. As far as diabetes is concerned, you follow the ADA guidelines. As far as the hypertension, you follow the ACC or AHA guidelines. As far as the dyslipidemia is concerned, follow the ATP3 guidelines. Again from America. So they have got a lot of evidence-based medicine, robust evidence. At least I want to mention one of my very good friends, Dr. C. Venkat S. Ram, who is a specialist. I know him from the last 2 decades. We see every time in the international meetings. He's an expert on hypertension. He lives in Dallas. Now he has come back to Apollo. He has opened a hypertension clinic. He was the committee member of all the JNCs. It's a proud moment for us as an Indian. He has played a crucial role starting from JNC 1 to JNC 8. His hand was there all the time. Apart from the 600 specialists in hypertension, which includes the cardiologists and the nephrologists and the endocrinologists, which have made the guidelines of JNC 8. It's a group of 600 specialists in treating hypertension. So all the time American guidelines are very transparent and very close to our scenario, because if you cross the 130, even 140, 130, 140, you see the same amount of risk that is carried in either pre-diabetes with regards to cardiovascular complications. You find the 80 to 90 of diastolic, you find that is stage 1. You find, so meticulously control the blood pressure, meticulously control you treat pre-diabetes and you try to prevent the cardiovascular complications. Likewise, you need to pick up these patients very early in the category of 130 to 139 of systolic, 80 to 89 of diastolic. So where they are more vulnerable to cardiovascular complications. So if you pick up at that particular time some sort of counseling regarding non-pharmacological therapy, and one drug is going to help them, put them on simple either telmisartan or whatever you want. So that will serve the purpose, and that will not let him to go into further complications or the overt hypertension. Pardon? Yeah, Subrat. Yeah. So one question is there, Subrat, I think. Yeah, absolutely, yes. Yeah. No, absolutely not. It is 130/80 by American people. It is less than 140/90 by European people. And if it is a case of only hypertension, other comorbidities, it is same. Like it says, maintain it to less than 130 or 80. No, your voice is not audible, Subrat. Yeah, you are audible now. Yes, tell me. Yes. Yeah, Indian Society of Hypertension also is playing a vital role, right? Okay. No, can you show me some reference? I can give you hundreds of references where the BP has to be targeted very meticulously to less than 130/80. That's it. There is no second option on it. I can provide you hundreds. That's what I have been telling you. The cardiovascular mortality is very high in those patients who are from whose systolic is from 130 to 139, whose diastolic is from 80 to 89. How can we allow our patients to get into cardiovascular complications? I have been practicing for 2.5 decades. All my patients are to the target, undoubtedly. The essence of JNC is, irrespective of the number of agents you use, whether it is 2 drugs or 3 drugs, 4 drugs or 5 drugs, you start with ARB, you add some CCB, you add some diuretic, you add one beta blocker, you add one alpha blocker, you add one spironolactone, whatever it may be, you bring back the blood pressure to the target of 130/80 millimeters of mercury at any cost. And there are no relaxations and there are no violations in this blood pressure target. Even this is said by American Diabetes Association also. Go through the 2020 standards of care, the medical care for diabetes released in January of this particular 2020. No. You see, nowhere the ISH is there. ISH has a very limited role. There are only 2 ones to follow, right? Either the American Heart Association bar American College of Cardiology guidelines, or you want to follow the European Society of Cardiology bar European Society of Hypertension guidelines. There is nothing beyond these 2 guidelines, that's all. Yeah. Practically nil. But in the elderly, there is a chance. Then why should you take a chance to go for the lower dose? That that's what 6.25 is very safe. I've been telling that don't go to 12.5 at a stretch. Start with low dose. If the patient is stable, then the BP is not controlled. You can add one more agent. If it is not controlled, then go for the ideal drug in the elderly is all the time a calcium channel blocker. Nothing, no role for beta blocker unless otherwise there is a documented coronary artery disease or a cardiovascular disease. Or the patient must have the associated comorbidities like heart failure. Until unless an elderly patient, 75-year-old, on whom you want to start beta blocker without any evidence of cardiovascular disease or heart failure, it becomes irrational. It's violating all the guidelines. See, now this is the era of the evidence-based medicine. We are answerable for every question that comes from the patient, and we can be sued also if we violate the guidelines. So I always tell the core message from my side is all the time try to save your skin, all the time get updated, try to follow the recommendations, try to use the molecules which are approved by US FDA to the possible extent. To the possible extent, I don't say US FDA is the supreme power, but to the possible extent, if you use US FDA approved, you will not be sued, okay? Even something goes wrong also, you got a good backing that it is approved by US FDA and the indication must be right appropriate.
Any other questions?
Anandu Chandran has typed. Anandu Chandran from Kerala has typed a question and it disappeared.
Yeah, it is not even thinkable right from the chat box also.
Yeah. Anandu, yeah, I can see that. Okay, Anandu, carry on, please. Anandu.
Sir, you can unmute.
Yeah, opinion on Azilsartan. Yes, Azilsartan is the latest. Yeah, you want Aja? Anandu.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Anandu.
Yes, sir.
You asked me about Azilsartan, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Azilsartan is a failure ARB which is now out of the scene, gone beyond the prescriptions, nothing. So that is not introduced in the United States or even in the European Union. It was used only in India by the pharma companies Azilsartan. Nowhere you find Azilsartan. And even I want to tell you, Anandu, you find only amlodipine in the US. You don't find the benidipine or cilnidipine or even the azilnidipine, the dihydropyridine group of CCBs. You never find in the international context. So, any queries, please? Yeah, Subrat, and thank you very much for your kind backup. Yeah. We are literally going through a tough time actually. Thank you so much. I'm much privileged to be the speaker this evening. Thanks to Ajanta Pharma, thanks to all the people who have made it possible, and thanks to all the participants for their patient listening, and especially my friend Srikanth. Yeah, thank you, Subrat. Thank you so much. So let's hope to have similar virtual meetings in the future, because I think in the COVID pandemic, I think we have to confine ourselves to only the virtual meetings, and the webinar speakers. So we cannot see anybody personally. No, little bit, na, your voice is not audible, Subrat. Yeah, now you are audible. Yes, absolutely. Acha, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. See, I all the time, Subrat, I go by evidence-based medicine. All the time I go by evidence-based medicine. Yeah. Thank you so much for your kind comments. Yeah, and the take home message for all my colleagues, my fellow friends, doctors, please try to be very vigilant in this the deadly pandemic of COVID. We have to be very cautious. Now we don't know who is COVID positive, and most of the times it so happens that the asymptomatic carriers, they walk in, they are the super spreaders. We don't know. We will be in a closed environment with the AC on and the doors and windows closed. We have to be more vigilant, I think. And keep safe. Keep safe. Yeah, we are the more vulnerable section. Doctors are always at the front line. We are on we are the most vulnerable section for getting any infection. So we are trying to take all the necessary precautions as advised by the Indian Council of Medical Research, and also the Association Physicians of India has given some guidelines, and certain guidelines we are meticulously following. Yeah, and a big thanks to Subrat for all your kind patronage and backup. Otherwise, it would have been a successful meet at all. Thank you so much, and convey my regards to Dr. Ajit also. Hope to see you soon, Subrat. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, I'll take your number from Zubair. I'll take it. Yeah, I'll be in touch with you, Subrat. It's pleasure to be in a nice interaction with you. Thank you so much, and thank you, Azanta Pharma. Right. See you then. Good night. Bye.